What if the first killer in human history was far older than we ever imagined? Join us as we uncover the shocking discovery of humanity's first murder. Don't forget to like, subscribe to our YouTube channel Court Capture, and hit the bell for more shocking history. In 2013, scientists made a startling discovery in the Spanish cave of Cima de los Huesos, or Pit of Bones. Among the skeletal remains they uncovered, one particular set of human remains stood out. The cave, located at a depth of 43 feet, 13 meters, was too deep to be inhabited by humans, and there were no signs that it was used as a burial site. What made this discovery so significant was the realization that it provided the first known evidence of murder in human history. This astonishing find raised questions about the nature of early human violence. What motivated the first murderer on Earth, and why did the circumstances surrounding this crime seem so strange? It also reignited a centuries-old debate in scientific and philosophical circles about the true nature of humanity. Was humanity inherently violent, as philosopher Thomas Hobbes suggested, or was it naturally peaceful, as Jean-Jacques Rousseau argued? These two opposing views have persisted for centuries, and they continue to shape our understanding of human nature. The case of the murder in the Spanish cave offers insights into these ongoing debates. To understand this crime, scientists began studying the remains in detail. They first reconstructed a skull from 52 fragments scattered across the bottom of the cave. Radiocarbon dating revealed that the person to whom the skull belonged lived approximately 430,000 years ago. However, the age of the remains was not the most surprising aspect of the find. What truly captured the scientists' attention were two fractures above the left eye of the skull. These fractures were symmetrical, identical in shape, and not caused by an accidental fall. Initially, the researchers considered the possibility that the injuries were the result of a fall down the steep, jagged cave floor. However, the cave's environment did not explain such symmetrical fractures, and there were no signs of healing in the area. This indicated that the injury either caused the victim's death or occurred posthumously after the person had died. Further analysis revealed that the fractures likely resulted from an intentional blow delivered with a stone spear or axe. This theory suggested that the victim's death was not the result of an accident, but a deliberate act of murder. The location and nature of the fractures indicated that the victim had been struck above the left eye multiple times, likely by an attacker using their right hand. After the blow, the body was dragged and dumped at the bottom of the cave, likely as a means of disposing of it or as part of some ritualistic behavior. In addition to the remains of this victim, the cave contained the remains of 28 other individuals. While no signs of violent death were found on their skeletons, scientists believe these people were already dead when they were placed in the cave. This discovery raised further questions. Was this the result of a single act of violence, perhaps a mass murder, or did the murderer commit a series of killings over time? Did the killer operate alone, or was there a group of perpetrators involved? Could this be the work of a serial killer or a group of early humans carrying out a massacre? The implications of this discovery were profound. The killer, who struck with brutal force, was likely a member of an early human species such as Homo heidelbergensis, a predecessor to Homo sapiens. It was a startling realization that the roots of human violence stretched much deeper into the past than previously thought, long before the emergence of modern humans. The discovery also suggested that violence was not an anomaly among early human ancestors. It was part of the natural order that persisted across generations. This notion was further supported by another discovery, this time in the Romanian cave of Calavina during World War II. Here, human remains were found with unusual injuries, and researchers could not initially explain the wounds. It wasn't until modern scientific techniques, including advanced imaging, were applied that the full nature of the injuries became clear. Using molds of the skull and conducting various experiments, scientists discovered that the injuries had been caused by a blunt object, likely a club or a fragment of volcanic stone. The analysis revealed that the victim had first been struck while lying on the ground, probably after being pushed. After regaining their feet, the victim was struck again. This time, the blow was delivered with such force that fragments of bone were dislodged. The position of the blows indicated that the killer was standing in front of the victim, and the fact that the blows were delivered to the right side of the skull suggested that the killer was likely left-handed. Both the cave in Spain and the one in Romania suggest that violence has been a part of human nature for a very long time. The presence of such brutal acts long before the emergence of modern humans complicates our understanding of aggression and violence. Does this mean that violence is deeply ingrained in human nature, or could these early acts have been outliers, exceptional cases in the development of humanity? These questions bring us back to the ongoing philosophical debate about the nature of man. Thomas Thomas Hobbes, in his work Leviathan, argued that humans are inherently violent, driven by self-interest and a desire for power. He believed that without a strong central authority to keep people in check, human society would devolve into chaos, a war of all against all. According to Hobbes, violence was an inevitable aspect of human nature that needed to be controlled by society. In contrast, Jean-Jacques Rousseau argued in his work The Social Contract that humans were naturally peaceful and cooperative in their early state. He believed that violence and corruption arose only with the development of civilization, as people began to accumulate property and form complex social structures. Rousseau saw the rise of inequality and social division as the primary drivers of violence. The discoveries in the caves challenge both Hobbes and Rousseau to some extent. While it is clear that early humans were capable of extreme violence, the findings also suggest that cooperation and social bonds played a key role in human survival. Early humans lived in groups, and the cooperation necessary for hunting, gathering, and protection likely required some degree of empathy and social cohesion. The modern scientific view on human aggression is more nuanced than Hobbes or Rousseau could have imagined. Evolutionary biologists suggest that violence may have been an adaptive trait in our early ancestors. Those who exhibited aggression were more likely to survive and reproduce, passing on the genes responsible for this behavior. Over time, these violent tendencies may have been reinforced through natural selection, ensuring that aggressive individuals were more likely to dominate their social groups. However, the same evolutionary process that favored aggression also led to the development of empathy and cooperation. As humans evolved, the ability to work together and empathize with others became essential for survival. The ability to form social bonds, communicate effectively, and collaborate in hunting and gathering allowed humans to thrive in a challenging world. Despite the presence of violence in human history, most modern people view killing as wrong and unacceptable. This moral stance represents an evolution in human behavior, a shift toward recognizing the value of life and the importance of peaceful coexistence. Though violence still occurs, it is increasingly seen as a tragic and avoidable act rather than a natural part of life. Psychologically, the ability to empathize with others is crucial for maintaining social harmony. However, some lack this ability. Sociopaths and psychopaths, for instance, are individuals who exhibit a profound lack of empathy and may commit violent acts without remorse. These individuals often find thrill in causing harm to others, and their behavior is not necessarily linked to any larger social or cultural factors. Interestingly, research has shown that many violent acts in modern society are committed not by strangers, but by people with close emotional connections to the victims. In the United States, for example, data shows that about 30% of female murder victims were killed by their spouses, while another 18.3% were killed by former spouses. Only 8.7% of victims were strangers, highlighting how modern violence often stems from personal, emotionally charged situations. Aggression, once evolutionary, now arises from complex emotions like jealousy and betrayal. In conclusion, human nature is complex and capable of both violence and cooperation. While our ancestors relied on brutality for survival, empathy and collaboration have emerged. Despite progress, violence remains a part of our history, shaping our understanding of humanity. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Court Capture, for more fascinating history insights.